let's chat a little bit about law. So Kiel is a lawyer, and so she's going to tell you a little bit more about law and some of the things, some of the terms that you can learn. So Kiel, what do you want to tell them?
Yeah, so I am a lawyer here in the US. I would be classified as a corporate lawyer. Mm-hmm. A corporate lawyer works on transactions and helps companies buy other companies or helps individuals to make contracts with each other. We're also called transactional lawyers.
And what kind of contracts, for example, between individuals that you guys handle?
This could be for an employee that's seeking to work with a company, their employer. This could also be an intellectual property agreement where one company is allowing another company to use their trademarks or their other intellectual assets. And this area of law generally is very different from the typical lawyer you may see on TV, which is a litigator, and that's a courtroom lawyer.
Got it. So you guys don't go to court? You go to court?
Don't.
Okay, you don't
personally.
Go to okay.
Unless something's gone really, really wrong and I have to testify, but that almost never happens.
Got it. So what would be the most common cases that you deal with?
Yeah, so I would call the matters that I work on transactions, whereas for a litigator, your lawyer that appears in a courtroom, their matters are called cases. So the transactions that I work on would be helping to form a whole new company or helping someone...
Like an LLC or C Corp?
That's right. An LLC, a C Corp, a partnership. And I also help people who have a lot of cash, a lot of money, and believe in a smaller company, believe specifically that they can make more money. I help them invest. So give money to this smaller company in the hopes that they'll make more money at the end.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. That's called an investment. And private investments would allow people, again, who have a certain amount of money, a certain amount of wealth, sophistication, to buy shares. So that means part ownership in one company that'll give them the right to get their money back, plus some if things go well and the company sells or goes public. Got it.
Do you recommend people the type of investments that they should do, or they identify the investments and then they come to you to paper it? How does that work?
The latter, for sure.
Okay.
So to recommend investments, that requires so much in the way of regulation. Those are investment advisors and
you need to have certain licenses, right?
Exactly. And I'm licensed to practice law. So you have an idea of what you want to do, and I help to make it happen.
Wonderful. What part of the job you like the most? Or if somebody's, well, let's tackle that. And then the follow-up question is, if somebody's looking to do what you do, what kind of education and things that they need to have behind them before being able to even dream of doing this?
I love the collaborative aspect of what I do. So I don't work with crises and problems as much. I work where there are two parties who have plans. They see a possibility, and you're involved in helping to make that possibility a reality. Yeah. So I really enjoy putting my mind to the issues at hand to come up with a creative solution for two parties that are interested in working together. Yeah, very good. And so if somebody's looking to do what you do, first of all, what you do, what do you call it? So I am a corporate lawyer. Corporate lawyer. So if somebody's looking to become a corporate lawyer, what do they need to do? A lot of the same things you need to do to become a litigator. But to be a lawyer generally, in the US, you would go to college. After you graduate high school, you would go to college. That's a 4-year degree. Yeah. And then you would apply to law school, which typically takes 3 years. Once you graduated from law school, then... So after the 4 years, you do another 3 years? Exactly. Okay. And you went to Yale? Yes, I did.
Okay, that's a really good school. You can research it. All right. And so 3 years on top of that to get your is that called a JD or what?
That's
what is
right.
It? Okay.
The JD is short for Juris Doctor.
Juris Doctor. Okay. Is that Latin? Juris.
You're right.
Okay.
You're
Got
absolutely
it.
right.
Okay, so 4 years, and then do you have to intern before you can start working, or you can just start immediately? You can open your own practice, or?
There are still additional steps.
Okay, all right, my bad.
So you can technically intern while you're in law school. Could be a summer associate with a law firm or some other private practice, government, etc. But for most people, after you graduate law school, you have to take a bar exam.
What's a bar exam?
It's a very lengthy exam for the given state where you want to practice. And it usually takes 2 days. You're learning all areas of law.
Wait, 2 days to sit an exam?
Yes.
Okay. That's intense.
So you study for months. Most people take 2-3 months to study for, 2 days of their life.
Oh my God. And then if you fail, can you take it immediately thereafter, or you have to wait a certain period of time?
It depends on the state. The state has a schedule for how many times they administer an exam.
Is it expensive?
It is. It's usually very expensive to prepare for it because this could touch so many, maybe even 20 plus areas of law. So it'll be things that you may have touched on in law school, but you're learning the state-specific rules around it, plus other areas.
Wow. So are you saying that in each state, they have different rules? In other words, can you be a lawyer in Florida here and still practice in New York? Or when you go to New York, you have to do something in addition to that to be licensed to practice in New York?
Yeah, generally, you need to be practiced in whatever state that your work is governed by. So if I'm working, can technically be in Florida, but if I'm only licensed to practice, I've taken the bar exam in New York, I could only really work on contracts that are governed under New York law. I can't just start practicing Florida law without knowing anything about it. So if I wanted to practice Florida law, I would have to take the Florida bar exam. Or some states are a little kinder to attorneys from, that's right, a little more lenient with each other, where if you're barred in one place, you can apply using the fact that you've already been working in one state to then be admitted in another state.
Got it. So to recap, in order to be a corporate lawyer, you go to college for 4 years, then you do 3 years to get your JD, then you sit a bar exam after months of studying, and then you sit a bar exam and you are ready to practice at that point? Or that's the biggest piece in being ready to practice. You would also have to go through a character and fitness review. What is that? Are they questioning that at this point, you really want to become a lawyer? What is a character review?
Yeah, so it's not even about your interest in the law. It's about, are you an honest person? Do you pay your debts? Do you not defraud other people because they want people who are acting as lawyers to act ethically? Right. So you have references, you answer so many questions about your history just to ensure that you are an upstanding citizen and trustworthy for clients to work with you. And then that character review, does it happen often throughout your career as a lawyer, or once you clear that, then you can go and do any murky business that you want? I mean, I'm just saying, it feels like a one-time deal, and then once they put a stamp on it, then now you can be like, all right, now that that's done and over with, I can become who I really want to be, the bad guy. How often do they do is it periodic, or is it a one-time thing? Usually there isn't a normal periodic character and fitness review, but there are two things to consider. One is that pretty much every practicing attorney has to take courses while they're practicing over time to make sure that they're still on top of the law, including ethics, so that they know what are the latest rules for acting ethically with clients or with other lawyers. And then secondly, even though you won't have someone checking in with you every year about whether you did anything wrong, you can run into situations where a client may feel that you ran off with their money and didn't really follow up with them and didn't do the work that you said you were going to do, or complain about doing sloppy work and it hurt them. And that could be cause for an ethical violation where your bar may penalize you.
Got it. What is the term for that? You get disbarred or you get dismembered? What is it?
That's the most extreme consequence.
Okay.
You can have a bar that maybe they understand that you did something wrong, but it was minor. And so they'll sort of kind of say on the record that you should not have done that. Or they can suspend you, which is just a temporary time in which you can't practice. But if things got really, really bad, then you could be disbarred, which means you're no longer able to practice in that jurisdiction.
Wow. And then that's it. Can you go to another state to then again apply, or once you get disbarred in one state, that's it? It's over with?
Every state has their own rules. Every state in that character and fitness review that I mentioned, that's part of your admission to apply, or your application to apply for admission to a bar. You will be asked questions about whether there's any other jurisdiction, even if it's in New York and you want to be in California now, like clear across the country. They will ask if anything has happened to affect your standing and your ability to practice law. And being disbarred is going to be very, very relevant.
Very good. And so just to finish off, any last thoughts or anything that you want to tell folks?
Yeah, I would say that, you know, I enjoy being a lawyer, and there's such a wide range of things that you can do. There are so many things that I do in addition to my day-to-day work that matters for my own sense of pride and wanting to do good in the world. So lawyers who are corporate lawyers could also do things like pro bono practice. So you may work with other immigration attorneys to help someone seeking asylum to be in the United States legally and gain legal status. So there's still a wide range of good things that you can do in and outside of your actual bill-paying job.
And are you guys able to help folks immigrate to the United States or not as a corporate lawyer?
Yeah, the best way to do this is to work with another organization who does this regularly. A lot of those organizations, they run based on donations, and so they don't have a lot of resources and a lot of attorney hours. So someone like me who has a different job that's set up very differently, I may on a volunteer basis work with them, and they'll give me information about how their cases usually run, but I'm helping out because I'm one person that they don't have already in their office. So
that's
a collaborative
very
effort.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, you understand now, if you're trying to come to the United States, you know who to talk to. All right, see you guys. Good job.
Yay!